I already recorded your voice, mate. You just didn't know.
Oh, wow. Welcome to the official, unofficial Sea of Thieves podcast, a podcast dedicated to Sea of Thieves and other rare games, but mainly Sea of Thieves. Season 11 has been on the seas for a while, and instead of hippos, we can now dive to voyages and world events. Not only this, but almost all companies have their level cap raised to 100, and a prestige system has been introduced, so we can do this 5 times over. Emergent voyages and shipwrecks have become more lucrative, and there are a bunch of new rewards to be earned. This and other quality of life additions are what make Season 11. But is this enough to satisfy, or are we already full of this type of content? We are going to find out on this podcast episode, and to help me out, I also have my wonderful co-host right here.
Where's Flameheart in all of this? God. Oh, right. Sorry, guys. It's me, AShinyRay. I just thought I'd be a bit more on brand for once. Also, complain.
Yeah, I thought, oh, this is going to be a positive episode, but no, you're already ruining it with your complaining.
Whoa. I've got it out of my system. I think I've got some very nice things to say about this season.
All right. Well, that's good. Because we don't want people thinking that we're just grumpy old men.
I'm just a grumpy man. You're the old one.
Yes, so we combine together in a grumpy old man. So, yeah, it's finally us again after 3 episodes. How do you feel about that?
Has it really been 3 episodes with guests?
Yeah, we had
Fuzzy, Falcor, and Mike at this point.
Yeah.
Because the Mike podcast would have been released as well, right?
When people are listening to this podcast, the Mike podcast has been released, yes.
That was a good episode. In fact, the last 3 episodes were all really good. In fact, since we've come back, this has just been, it's nice to have stuff to talk about, you know? May we have 2023 again.
Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Do you also like the newer color of our thumbnail?
I do like the color. I do think it looks really nice. But I obviously wanted it to be red because it's the year of Flameheart. But the community voted otherwise, didn't they?
They did vote otherwise. They voted purple, so the next 10 episodes, or the next 9 episodes from now, will be purple. And then we vote again, and red's going to be in the next rotation with another color, so there you go.
If this is out in February, then if we get red the next color, that'll be November, so we'll be just in time for Flameheart to be back. Perfect.
Yes, exactly. if people vote red, of course.
No, I'm gonna lobby my channel, my subscribers to vote red just for me.
You're gonna give away copies of Heart of Fire if they vote red?
No, just Serpent Sly sales or some shit like that.
All right, yeah, something you don't need to spend money for.
Yeah. But infinitely more valuable and rare.
Speaking about money, if you want to support this podcast financially, you can do so by clicking on the super thanks and just donating whatever you feel like it. Or if you're like, whoa, I want a nice poster for over my bed, there's a link in the description as well, so you can buy a podcast poster. If you don't want to do any of these things, you can always leave a like. So let's talk about season 11. So how do you feel about season 11 as a whole?
Oof, controversial statement coming. I love it, with a little asterisk there, but there's, not a season 11 issue that's wrong with season 11, but we'll cover that later on.
Yeah, I also love it. I think it's great. I was... when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh no, not another quality of life season. But now that I'm playing it, I'm addicted again, like proper addicted to Sea of Thieves again. So always liked it, never quit playing. Always came back with glee, but now I feel the urge. I feel the tingly in my body. I need my fix.
Yeah, and that's nothing to do with Sea of Thieves, everyone. That's something else. No, I agree with that. I think a good example is season 9 was sort of meant to be a Shrouded Spoils update, but season 11 was the better Shrouded Spoils update.
Yeah.
And if you went around to play Shrouded Spoils, that was the 4th major update Sea of Thieves got, and it was the last one in 2018. And it essentially added loads of different things just to make your time better rewarded, such as the Megalodon and Kraken dropping loot and the Siren statues dropping gems. This is the sort of same thing where Rare has revamped basically everything you do. And it just feels like it's worth engaging in all the content on offer rather than min-maxing, we'll do Legend of the Veil because everything else is shit, or we'll do Hourglass because that's fun and we need to grind for our curses, etc. It feels like it's brought the game back into it's worth doing most of the content now, not just the latest thing they've added.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It does also really feel like another Shrouded Spoils. So let's dive into it. Let's dive into the detail, and let's begin with the main feature, and that's diving to raids and voyages. Voyages have been removed from trading companies, so we don't need to buy them anymore. We can now use our map table to vote on them. We can also use the table to go on raid voyages that have loot tailored to the company we are diving for. And when you, this is a sentence I did not finish typing, so I'm just going to...
Me, when I take my script back and I'm trying to record it. What was I trying to say there? God.
So when you re-emerge from the sea, I think when you re-emerge from the sea, you are close to the island you need to be. So, how do you feel about these changes?
How do you feel, first of all? I want to hear you.
Oh, I think it's great. Like, again, people were complaining, and I was a bit fearful, like, oh, wait, so there's no sailing towards it. But that's the appeal of Sea of Thieves, right? Starting out on your voyage and figuring out what you want to do on that server. But, fuck that shit. This is way better. You just dive, and you're already working on getting loot on your ship, and that's the most fun part. You still need to sell it back, so there's always this risk. I was also fearful of there's gonna be no PvP. Just you dive, there's no ships around, you're close to an outpost, you cash in quickly. But that also has not been the case. Like, sometimes that's true, but a lot of times there are still ships nearby. So there's always excitement to be had, and it's great for shorter sessions. Like yesterday, I was editing the Mike podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It was 11:30, and normally I would not start a session of Sea of Thieves at that time, but this time I did. I just dove and did some Ashen Lords, and had a great short session with Sea of Thieves, and you could not have that before season 11. So I really love it.
I assume that was 11:30 at night, right?
Yes, yeah.
I was going to say you've got loads of time if it's 11:30 in the morning, mate. That's usually earlier than we start before season 11.
That's usually I'm sleeping by then, so there you go.
Fair enough.
So how do you feel about it?
I initially hated the idea of diving. I thought it was a bit, and it still is a bit, it's quite Zoomerish in the sense that, you hop on Call of Duty and you get in a lobby and you get in a queue to play exactly what you want, or, to use that as an example. And I get that not everyone has the time to invest in this, in Sea of Thieves. I was one of those people, so in the weekday I generally don't play it. I'm either in work, doing other things, or I'm making a video. And then we usually play a Saturday, Sunday, one day for a few hours, but I'm not inclined now to still jump on Sea of Thieves for a session. The only thing I'd probably play at the moment is solo Hourglass. Sort of just for a short session. I'd still jump on another game for a quick fix, but only because, I'd rather have a whole afternoon of Sea of Thieves. But with that being said, when Season 11 came out, and sort of just before the run-up to it, I was very excited about it. It wasn't the season I really wanted for January, but as it's come out, I think this is the best season we've had. Definitely since Season 8, and probably, it's probably top 3 seasons for me now, maybe top 4. Yeah, the diving's really fun. It's actually created a lot more loot on the season, and we've had a lot more steals since, I guess, since Season 9 and 10 had started. And yeah, it just feels like the world's a bit more populated. And I don't think the diving has ever robbed us of a server, or it's ever, caused us not to get a steal or not to get a lively server. I think it's doing the opposite, where it's making the world more alive and there's more player interaction, which is strange, but I guess people always diving into seas and out of it to, I guess, sort of force people on the same server.
Yeah, I think that's what they do. Because I have sessions where you don't see any other ships and you stay on the same server.
Mm-hmm.
But now because you die, you don't know what you're gonna get, and a lot of times there are ships nearby. And I have to admit I've sunk a couple of times to other ships because I was just focusing on my raids.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I know this would have happened in Season 8 anyway, but we won that hourglass fight, didn't we? Around Fort of the Damned with that crew that kept trying to swim the kegs over and kept running from us.
Yeah.
As soon as we finished, we didn't have all that many cannonballs, but the Fleet of Fortune was up and there was a sloop that was tackling it. And it was a Reaper 4, and we went after them and they saw us and they're like, we're going to sell. We took whatever loot they had on board. I think they had a Ghost Ship World Event and something else. And we sold all that. And then as soon as we sold, a grade 5 gold hoarder spawns a fleet next to us. And we're grade 5 Reapers. And it's like, oh, wow, that's a nice reward. So they've just spawned a world event next to us, which wouldn't have happened before. It would have gone to Skull for, Ashen Winds across the map. But now, because they've changed that world event and we're right next to them, like, okay, let's go and sink them, and we did. And then we got that world event as well, and that is something that would have never happened before Season 11.
Yep. So actually, this update is great for PvP.
Yeah, it really is, and I'll cover that next bit in a minute.
Yeah. So they also adjusted some of the voyages, like they made them a bit easier. How do you feel about those? Like I can give an example. Maybe that's easier for the listeners, because for the animals, for example, normally you had to get crates from the merchants, sail to the island, need to find out which island has those animals. Now you just dive. You don't need to get the crates. The crates are there on the island. No skeletons spawn on that island. The crates are there, and the animals that you need to collect are also on the island. So you don't need to die and cycle through spawns to get the right color of pig, because the pig is already there. So a lot of other voyages are made easier that way. So how do we feel about that?
I think easier is the incorrect term to use. It's made it less tedious. So Sea of Thieves, for lack of a better term, has always had this level of tedium to it. It takes a while to do anything, really. And slowly Rare's peeled that back. We've had the Harpoon changes, we've had the Sovereigns, we've had Hourglass added, and now obviously we've got this Void rebalancing. We have lost some of the immersion and the role-playing aspect of, before you'd get your crates and you'd have to go out and find the pigs and the snakes and the right colour and figure out which island's what, etc., etc. I don't think that's the best example, because I think that's optimized it too much for the sake of just, turning it into a loot gathering sim. But it's also removed the tedium that made those voyages a pain in the arse. So, I'm in two minds about that. I'm not really sure what to make of it. Don't get me wrong, it shouldn't be tedious for tedium's sake. And just because we had it hard doesn't mean new players should have it harder or as hard. But I just think, you just get the crates and you pick up the thing. It's turning a voyage not from that shipping element where you role play as a merchant. It's almost changing it into a reskin gold hoarder voyage. You just have an extra step of getting the crates at the island. So that's not a good example, but the other ones, the rebalancing of the other voyages have been better.
Yeah, but that's good. Like what you said, like just because we had it harder doesn't mean this is good. Another example is the Skull of Destiny. Like you can just dive and you appear at the island where you need to be. So you don't need to chase the compass all around the map to find the correct island. You're just already there at that island. And I think, that cuts in a lot of time, and we had it harder before, but that was just tedious sailing. Now we can just, still have a fun voyage finding the skull on the island and start the FOTT, which is the goal of that session. So
I feel like
I love it.
At that point, they should just make it so you have an X marks the spot. Sort of defeats the object of adding that compass to make it a bit different. And now, you go to this island and it'll just point exactly where you need to go.
I guess so, but it's nice to have a bit of variation in the voyages.
It's more so they probably did that because everyone's sick of Fall of the Damned at this point, and they need people to do the Skull of Destiny voyages.
They also, I wanted to talk about this later, but we can do it now. Like they also adjusted the Lost Shipment voyages. They have less loot now. Is that correct?
The Lost Shipment voyages are not good. It could have been because I started at level 75 and now I'm 95 in merchants, so it could be the loot will be better. But you only get 1 crate per clue now. You used to sometimes get more than that, maybe 3 or 4 at some instances. And the end was all, I think it was tea and sugar, and I had 1 ashen crate. That was it. But the merchant, the logbook was still the revered one, so I don't know really what's going on with that. I think some of the loot has been made worse. Whether that's intentional, I don't know.
Well, they certainly dialed back on the amount of loot items you're getting.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing, especially when you're solo. You don't want to, spend that much time varying your loot. Just make it a bit more high value, a bit more sought after, and you're good. And that's what I did. So I'm also happy with that change.
It's also less taxi on the server, isn't it?
It is. Well, but you think there'd be less lag now, but that's a different discussion. So the final thing I want to ask is this a good system for new players?
I think it's a good system for everyone. I mean, that's Rare's intention at almost every update is get those Game Pass downloads and keep those new players in, and that's really been the case for the last sort of 18 months.
Yep.
Well, and most other updates as well. They're always trying to top up their new player count, aren't they? It'll allow them to get that dopamine rush of getting loot quicker. Yeah, I guess it attracts other players that don't have the patience to enjoy the sea in Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I think there's less of a negative feeling when you sink because you're like, oh, I sunk, but I just dive again, and then I'm already getting loot again, so people will be less mad about that.
Yeah, or you could just go back to safer seas.
And that's also always an option. So let's move to the other big addition this season, and that's the prestige system or the distinction system. So most trading companies level up to 100 now. There are some additional rewards for going through the ranks, like trinkets, banners, plushies, ship's crest, costumes, and of course a new ring for each distinction. So how do we feel about this?
Yeah, we've been waiting for the prestige system for years at this point. The last time the company levels, apart from Athena, was adjusted was in Ships of Fortune, which was April 2020. So it's been almost 4 years. And Legend of the Veil was, around 2 years ago for an Athena, to raise the Athena level from 20 to 30. That system overall is good. It's nice to see the progress go up, and it feels like it's worth doing the voyages again because I'll get rewards for them, not just gold. And the once water emissary rewards, which are actually pretty crap, no offense, then they're not great. They don't encourage me to do the ledgers, hence why I'm several months behind on them. As for the rewards from 75 to 100, they're all pretty good. Of course, we get trinkets again because we seem to just get trinkets nowadays.
We have more room now too, so
yeah, true. But the trinkets are better, and they're not just objects ripped from the world. We have the plushies as well; those are awesome. Athena got 2 ship crests, and they got some extra trinkets. Shame about the veil being a trinket and not a mask. I feel like they missed a trick there. Yeah, but the costumes. The costumes are really cool, but the costumes we've gone full circle now. We've got clothing in the Pirate Emporium, but if you want to earn something, it's just costumes. I feel like these should have been delayed in order for them to release them as clothing. They look cool, and they're all amazing apart from the Order of Souls one. That looks a bit crap. And then Reapers ended up getting the best rewards out of any of them. They got 4 skeleton pieces, which in a year, in 3 months' time, we're going to get our next 4. So we're doing well. We finally got our skeleton pieces. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. 1 ring per 100 levels is abysmal. That is really bad for player engagement. And the rings can't be used with gloves either.
That's true.
I know they said it looked awful and it didn't really work, but they're basically gloves, but on one hand.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Rare can pad out those distinction levels. I feel like there's a lot of unused Pirate Legend cosmetics that, will be coming back and they'll just be shoved in the store. Maybe use those to pad out the distinction tiers. But that's what I have to say on it.
Yeah, because that's a bit weird. Like every 5 levels you get something else, but once you reach 100, it's every 100 levels for the next reward. So like, come on, just put some furniture in there or some more plushies or something to keep us going. So my opinion is about the same as yours. I do want to add that I like that you can choose which hand you are wearing those rings. And you can combine it. So if you have Order of Souls rings, you can wear those on your right, and if you have Pirate Legend rings, you can wear them on your left hand. So I like that, but not double. So that's okay. Maybe that would have been nice, but you can't do double hands.
Would have been cool if they added the ability to wear gloves independently as well. So you could do like a Luke Skywalker cosplay.
Yeah, and it's also weird that they didn't revert some of the older gloves to rings, because I think you have the merchant gloves, or I don't know, some gloves that are just rings, and they're still gloves. So why didn't they make those into rings, which you can also switch with hands? Would have been nice, but they didn't do that.
I don't know, man. We've still got those commendations in Hourglass that are bugged because you often run into servants or guardians on the same team as you. And that was over a year ago, and that wasn't fixed. So you're asking a lot for those rings to be sorted.
It's not on the priority list. We'll talk about Hourglass in a bit as well. But let's first, you're done with the prestige system, right?
Yeah, there's not really much more to say about it.
Yeah, so let's go to the Kingly Treasure. This is a new high value package of loot items. You can find these in shipwrecks, from skeleton captains, and from messages in a bottle. So yeah, just new loot and it's more valuable. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it feels like, I think shipwrecks were fine because of the supplies, and there's a lot of loot in them anyway. They've just been made better. Skeleton captains probably needed a bit of a buff because they were just a bit annoying. The kingly loot doesn't feel like it's actually worth that much.
I think it's quite valuable. It's like thousands per item.
Yeah, it's worth going in, but I thought it was going to be like, oh shit, this is a lot, And there's no merchant one either, which is a bit disappointing.
Okay, but it does like shipwrecks. I was just avoiding shipwrecks. I've never been doing them. Ever since I'm done with my shipwreck chest. I don't really care about shipwrecks anymore, but now I do. If it's shipwreck on the way, I always sail to it to get that new treasure. And there's also accommodations locked to it, and I believe there's also some cosmetics attached to it as well if you complete the commendation.
Yeah, it's the cartographer weapons. I can't remember which two it is.
The cutlass is one of them. You can see that in the title screen as well.
Custom.
Yeah, looks.
Pistol, cutlass, and pistol, I think, and the other cosmetic. The other two are for selling the new Voyage loot. So I think I've got that correct.
Yeah, I think so too. We never prepare for this podcast. What are you talking about?
It's in the trailer. Just watch the trailer. God.
But yeah, we got out of the way. It's fun to kill skeleton captains when you get a message in the bottle. You're like, hey, let's do this message in the bottle as well. You plan your voyages around it. It is really there for those longer sessions as well. So those are also a bit more fulfilling. Yeah, just love it. I like it. Yeah. Moving on. This is the easiest season to discuss. Like, yeah, good addition. All right, nice.
Oh, what's that? Another good addition.
So let's discuss a few more. Like the Chest of Fortune is now in the fleet. There's also new ship cosmetics attached to them if you're keeping up with your grades. So how do we feel about the Chest of Fortune being in the fleet?
Oh, never again in the Fort of the Damned. I think, right, I get the intention, but in the sense that they've put it in the Fort of the Damned to make people want to do Fort of the Damned, it's also stopped people bothering with it because they know they could do it any time. It's like, oh, someone's doing Fort of the Damned. Oh, okay, we could just stack it. I didn't really feel like fighting them for it. They're great for people who don't like PvP, but also they've made it so I didn't even finish my Chest of Fortune last season because I was that sick of it. So now, when the season came out, we had the Ritual Skulls the other day, and we didn't want to do I wanted to do Fort of the Damned for gold, but the rest of the crew didn't want to do it because they were sick of it.
Yeah.
But having it in a non-spawnable world event, and you can't dive to it, by the way, it has to be randomly spawned on the server, it's so much better. It might be a bit easy to get the Chest of Fortune, and we haven't had that much conflict over them so far.
I had.
Oh, have you?
I had tuckers. I had a 3-man sloop tucking on our ship. And I still have no idea what the full story is, but they failed, but they tried. We had fights over it. Yeah.
It's nice to have a purely naval event. We've not had that before in the 3 versions of the Chest of Fortune. But yeah, in future, it needs to stay in non-spawnable activities. I think it's too easy to farm it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the skeleton fleet's really fun as well. Although that first one we had, when there was we had the 2 galleons at the end, and one had Anchor Ball, one had Peace Ball with the 2 sloops. I'll tell you what, I lied. We did have a good fight over it. We had the 2 sloops, didn't we? And the annoying galleons fighting the brig with me, you, and Comma.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But
it's pushed into the recesses of your mind, those cursed cannibals.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, fleet is nice. It's nice. It's there. It's close to Reaper's hideout as well. So it can be fun because you can sell it quickly, and then you don't need to worry about it. But on the other hand, there might be some tuckers there.
Always in the center of the map as well, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. Another addition is that we have emissary voyages in the Roar, which is nice. So if you get to grade 5 in the Roar, if you get your emissary quest there, you can go to the islands in Roar. You can stay there. You don't need to go back to the other region, which is nice. If you want to say something, I'll just hear you say something, right?
Yeah, I'll butt in. Don't worry.
All right. So another addition is that if you lose your emissary voyage if you sink or lower your flag, which is also good, which makes sure people will not lower their flag and actually stay grade 5, which is nice for Reapers hunting grade 5 flags. So I really like that addition.
Yeah.
You get less rewards for lost shipment voyages. We already discussed that. Cloth won't get wet above water, which is nice.
As in, like you can just carry it, and as long as you hold it above water, it doesn't get wet. Finally.
Yeah, because you were always maneuvering your ship in weird positions so you don't get it wet. And now you don't need to do that, which is nice. It was just annoying, and they removed that. In Treasure Vaults, the flames now indicate the time left, which is nice. They didn't have to do it, but it's nice that it's there. It's also a bit longer now. You have a bit more time to complete the puzzle, which we didn't need, obviously, but it's nice for other players.
Yeah.
Phantoms only spawn at night now, which is nice because they look better when it's dark.
And they're fucking annoying.
Are they?
Yeah, just the fact they dodge and they get hit regged all the time, and they do that stupid sword lunge as well, and they turn invisible. Yeah, fuck the Phantoms. Yeah. God, bring back my Skelly guys. Yeah, at least they're stupid and easy to kill.
All right. The Chest of Wondrous Secrets can now be found with... I'm not entirely sure if it was a message in a bottle or captain's orders. Maybe you know?
I think it's captain's orders.
All right, but it can spawn now. So how do you feel about that? Because that's a bit weird, isn't it?
Lore-wise, fine. Yeah, Flameart's captains would have access to those. Maybe not the lowly skeleton, although Adara is a lowly skeleton captain, but why are we making it less special?
Yeah.
It should just spawn in the raw, and it's like, oh shit, and it was a reason to go to the raw. Not that it really worked, but unnecessary, I think. There's no commendation. It's just worth loads of gold, and it's like saying, "Oh, I found the chest of wondrous secrets."
Yeah, now like you didn't really find it. You just got a captain's order. Yeah,
RNG, didn't you, fam? Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It's just it just made it a little bit less cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's apparently still rare. Like I still haven't found one yet. Like I found one in the drawer, but not one in the captain's orders. But yeah, so if it's as rare as the Shroud goes, I'm fine with it. If you can find it just like anything else, then I'm like, nah, that's a bit too easy to get. Ashen Guardians now drop a key and a map to an Ashen chest. That's also nice, isn't it?
Yeah, who gives a fuck about Ashen chest?
All right,
no,
you can.
It's good. It's good if you haven't got your tomes, but that was 4 years ago for me. Ashen chests are just doubloons now, which I can't really spend them on anything.
I guess it's good because we've said this many times before. Like, there's so much content for new players, and there's so much things to unlock. And now it's a bit quicker for them to unlock all that stuff, which I think it's a good thing because then they can. They still need to play a lot, but it's a bit easier to catch up. I just think that's a good thing.
Yeah, the tomes are RNG tedium. They should have had it so you just unlock them if you haven't got it already. So, this player unlocked the thing. If there's a tome in there, it's one they haven't had before. Yeah, it took me ages to get the last Tome of Fire. I think it was Tome of Fire 3 I struggled with, and it took several Ashen chests and world events. But I do agree with you. It's hard to get excited about something from the perspective. There's always this thing with Sea of Thieves where veteran players will not be as excited as new players. It's like, because we've been playing it for 6 years, and if you started playing a year ago, you've still got a lot of the game to experience, or you're not bored of certain things. So, yeah, great for other players. I can't lie to people and go, "Oh, this is the best thing ever," because it doesn't really apply to me.
It's more doubloons for us.
But we can't spend the doubloons on anything.
I knew you were going to say that. Well, community day.
Why would I turn it into gold? There's nothing to spend. Other than supplies, there's nothing I want to spend my gold on. I've got 20 million and nothing to spend it on.
All right.
Don't say trinkets, because I don't care about the trinkets.
You can spend them on trinkets, which you can now put on your bookshelf.
What the money spent, the money earned from earning the trinkets just pays for itself, and it's just a vicious cycle. We need new gold cosmetics, good ones, to grind for.
All right. I'm in the same boat now, actually, because I was catching up. I buy everything in the game. If I unlock it, I buy it. Just what I do. So I've bought everything now that I can buy, and I'm up to date again. I'm just saving my money as well. So
to the listeners, it was that bad that we'd have to buy all the supplies, and we were turning in stupid. We were stopping for stupid loot, and Blubber would fill up all the cannonball crates and stuff. Or it's like a 1,500 gold. So, do you need to get supplies? Or we'd load into his brig and, Blubber, have you bought supplies? No, I haven't got any gold left. Okay, we'll pay for them again because you want to buy every trinket.
Yep, and that went on for months.
Yes, it's only just stopped, and the economy is readjusted. He's single-handedly keeping the Sea of Thieves economy afloat by buying everything, while everyone else just hoards their gold.
Hi,
God. You can blame inflation on him.
Yep. That's me. Yeah, I did it. But yeah, trinkets on the bookshelf. That's nice.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, moving on. There's now a rock in the middle of the map.
You mean there's a visible rock in the middle of the map now? Why did that take so long to texture it? Why was it there in the first place? Where did it come from? When did it get added? No one knows. And we've had no explanation other than, this invisible rock is now visible. It must serve a function. I bet it's a tall tale location or something.
Do you think it has something to do with the Fairy of the Damned down there?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it hides it or stops players seeing it, or there's a technical reason for it, but it hasn't been shared with us.
Yep. We'll ask Mike next time.
Damn it. That was my one question I needed the answers to.
Speaking about sea rocks, they have received some new textures. They're a bit mossy now.
Yeah, the ones in the shores are plenty of mossy, aren't they? And there's erosion, and there's this nice wet look to some of the sort of bases of the rocks. They look really good.
Yep, they still sound annoying though.
Oh. Yes, they do.
Yes. All right, moving on. Just a service announcement. Don't forget to get your Paradise Garden Eye of Reach Season 11. It's free in the Pirate Emporium.
Jesus, how long have you been dragging those out for? A year?
Something like that.
Maybe since
about a year. Yeah, it's a new one each update. Yeah, so about a year.
Oh.
Is this the final one? Yeah,
it's
we got
the
Flintlock.
Weapon,
Yeah. I like it. I like my Paradise Garden sets.
All right, from season 12 to season 14, it'll probably be, I don't know, the Banjo-Kazooie weapons.
I would love that.
I know you would.
Yeah. And there are also other tiny improvements, but we can't be bothered to discuss them all. Unless there's one that you really want to add right now.
No, I didn't read the patch notes.
Yeah, these were about the most interesting ones I could find. There's a lot of additions to the Voyages, which we can go into detail, but it's not really exciting. Just know, listeners, a lot of the Voyages have been adjusted to make them a bit more smoother.
Yeah, if you want to listen to those, make sure you paint your wall, turn your chair, face it, watch that paint dry, and that'll be more interesting and going over than going over those changes. So,
well, I wouldn't say that.
I don't know. We've sped through the fun ones already.
that is true. But if you're interested, you can always check out the release notes and have a nice read. So let's move on to the messages in a bottle. That's a segment of the podcast where all listeners can send in their own questions and we answer them. If you want to send in your own questions, you can join the Salty Hippo Discord. Link will be in the YouTube description. And we have a lot of questions to go over. So let's start with the first one. That one comes from Gunner646. With all of the Season 11's new loot, I feel like the original art style / design of the game being lost is more apparent now than ever before. Despite how good these items look, I'm not convinced they are of the Sea of Thieves world. Do you think they could take the art style into a better direction than more shiny equals better?
That's interesting.
I don't have this problem at all. First of all, a lot of the Raid Voyage loot does remind me of the original art style of Sea of Thieves. Like those new Seafarer's chests on the Gold Order Voyages, they kind of look like the ones from the beta game, right?
Yeah. So they look like the rare chests, and because they were just called like rare chests or sailors. I think they were called sailors chests in the alpha as well.
Oh, there you go. So that actually reminds me more of the game before it was released. And the Kingsley treasure, you could say like some of those marble boxes, they don't really scream piratry, but they scream kingly. That's the idea. And it's not the, it's not the majority of the loot is shiny now, so I'm kind of fine with it.
I think some of the Order of Souls stuff looks really Sea of Thieves, like the crystals. Reminds me of the crystal skull you find in Indiana Jones. No, in the Eighth Tall Tale, it sort of reminds you of that. Athena stuff, can't really comment on because they basically added the medallion and it's still the trinkets from Legend of the Veil. And what else is there?
Dark Rituals you can get now from Order of Souls Voyages.
Yeah, that was a good reuse of them. I think it's good to have those as, actual loot rather than time limited or adventure stuff. Yeah, I like that. I do see where they're coming from though.
Okay.
Care
to elaborate on that?
I don't really know how to express this, but I do understand how some of the loot being more shiny is, I guess, quite different to what we're used to because they use a lot of those sort of metallic textures. But in the sense where you look at how the Castaway chest goes from up to the Captain's chest, there's that progression of the design rather than changing the texture and the color. Does that make sense? You see it, the not the Ashen chest, the captain's chest looks better than the castaway chest, whereas the sailor's chest is just upgraded to an admiral chest. Do I have it right? And it's just the same cut. It's it doesn't look like a captain's chest. Sorry, who asked this question? I've got
Gunner.
head. Connor. Sorry, Connor. I've got head
Gunner.
Gunner. I've got head like a sieve today. I do agree with what he's saying, because if you look at the sailor's chest and the upgraded one, it's the sailor's chest just with a different color. It's not following the same progression as a castaway to a captain's chest, where it gets more ornate and you've got different patterns on there. It's the same chest, just different color. So I do agree with what they're saying. It's better is shinier rather than better is more ornate looking.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I also agree with that. It should also change shape as well.
Yeah, I think the same with the bottles as well. They're just a different color, a silver, rather than. Although I guess you can't really use that argument because the Devil's Roar bottles were the same, but yeah, they should have gone for different shapes, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely with the merchant stuff. Yeah, it's just recolor, right?
Yeah. Order of Souls is obviously different. They have unique items, but they're reused. But definitely the Gold Hoarders have gone down that route, Connor. Sorry, Gunner. Jesus Christ.
All right. Okay. So thanks for the question, Gunner. Next one comes from Toby EchoZap. With season 11 out, what areas do you want editing, and what areas you want with more rewards? And if any, then what sort of rewards? So I'm really happy with season 11. Like, everything feels fresh and worth doing again, except Hourglass. Like, Hourglass is still fun to do, but they didn't alter it at all. If I had to pick the next area where they should edit it, I think in Hourglass. Because if you have the curse, some people just go to the curse and that's it and never touch Hourglass again. And others don't bother with it at all because there are no fun rewards to be get before you get the curse. So they could definitely add some more rewards there. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree with that one. That would have been my answer as well. The other one that needs changing is the original Athena Voyage. It's just really long,
it's a good one.
And they haven't touched it up at all in terms of the loot. It's still as bad as it was on day one, especially compared to Legend of the Veil. And they just outright scrapped the Thieves Haven run. That's gone now. So the original Athena run needs to award only, not Athena run, the original Athena Voyage needs to add only Athena stuff.
They're terrible to do. It's just long. You don't even get Athena treasure all the time, yeah.
They should have created Athena versions of the cargo where you have to shift it between, I don't know, you still ship it as cargo, but it just gives you Athena rep and progression. Same with smaller Athena chests that you dig up and Athena skulls that you get, because we already have this sort of thing, don't we? So it should all be Athena based, and they just needed to add merchant stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for that.
Sorry, you have to deliver the cargo now. You can't wait for it to expire. It has to be delivered. So it's actually even worse.
It's worse.
It's even worse to do, yeah.
That's fun. I mean, they used to be, like, it was a long voyage, but you were still getting, rep and rewards for the other trading companies. I mean, that was kind of the appeal, too, of those Athena voyages, because you did it with somebody who was by legend at the time. And you were not, so he put the legendary voyage down, but you still get a lot of rep because you were getting villainous skulls and captain's chests. And that was really cool about that voyage, but that doesn't really work in Sea of Thieves anymore.
No.
That's a relic of the past. So yeah, they really need to change that one. Yeah. All right. So there you go, Toby. Thanks for that question. Next one is from Gio Godfather. With myself being a big fan of Briggsy, how do you think Rare will conclude the Skeleton Cure arc? A simple adventure, a breathtaking tall tale, or a new Athena voyage similar in vein to the Legend of the Veil? And do you think we have any chance of it being concluded this year, or will this be another plotline Rare leaves in limbo for a few years. We have some answers to this, don't we?
Right, you're going to have to refresh my memory because I know you've been editing it. I don't know if you've watched it all the way through.
I did. So we asked Mike about this. Well, actually, Ray asked Mike about this. I think your question was, will we ever see the Skeleton Cure Temple?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I remember that bit.
Yeah, so Mike said, yes, we will go there. But I don't think it's going to be for this year.
I think he said it wasn't this year.
Yeah, so we have to wait a long time for it. It will get concluded, and we will go to that temple, but not yet.
I reckon the January season next year, which is 15. I reckon season 15.
Yeah. So do you think it will be an adventure or Tall Tale or Voyage?
Oof. Because we asked him about Tall Tales, didn't he? And he said no more crossover Tall Tales, but he didn't rule them out for Sea of Thieves. And adventures are MIA. We're meant to be hearing about them soon, but we haven't at the recording of this. This is on the 29th of January. So we could hear about it this week.
And I did ask him, like, what about people that want lore this year? Are they going to expect adventures? And he didn't answer the adventure question. He did say, if you like lore, there's a lot about Flameheart this year. But he didn't say in what form that would be. So he was kind of dodging the adventure answer, I think.
Yeah, and the year of Flameheart has kicked off with a non-Flameheart season. So, I guess, we're going to have to wait ages for that still. Unless they start teasing more as we go along, but I don't get the vibe.
Speaking about teases, we also asked Mike to describe 2025 with one word. And he said ancients. So that's another connection to that ancient temple. So maybe we even go to the Sea of the Damned again and meet the ancients there and have a sort of map expansion, maybe.
Yeah, well, we know what Flameheart is doing has something to do with the ancients because he's off finding the secrets of them, and the people in his lantern are ancients. In his snow globe are also ancients in the orb. Yeah, so I think he's going to kick off the plot again, isn't he, when he comes back? And it sort of fits with the book as well, doesn't it? Sorry, to answer the question, I think it's going to be a voyage, a Pirate Legend voyage, or maybe a voyage that can be tackled from either Athena perspective or Reaper perspective. We'll see.
Oh, that would be nice. Yes. But either way, it's going to be next year.
Yeah.
So you have to wait a little bit longer, Gio.
2 years waiting for the plot points to conclude. Wow.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Especially I wonder nasty tease like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what the thought process was at Rare. But Mike said the Avengers were there to also establish the Dark Brethren. And now they're established, and now they're focusing on Flameheart, and then after that they're going to focus on the rest again.
I imagine they probably planned them as adventures, but they're probably shifting that to a voyage now or something that can be replayed. Because obviously we had the feedback about adventures being missable, and Mike did speak about that, didn't he? God, we're not going to give away all the secrets. Go listen to the Mike podcast.
Which maybe you already have.
Yes, probably have.
All right, so thanks for that, Gio. The next one comes from Cross Reaper 21. After receiving new Skeleton cosmetics, do you think with Flameheart's return, it will give Rare the excuse to add more Reaper Bones / Servants cosmetics in general? So, let me do it again. Reaper Bones / Servants cosmetics in general.
I wasn't laughing at that, by the way, but I am laughing that this is another question that was sort of teased on the podcast again.
Go listen to my podcast. We'll answer it here. Yes, there is a cosmetic set that's confirmed to come.
Finally. Yeah. Burning Blade.
Just say what it is. Yeah.
Burning Blade will be coming this year. We know that for sure. And Mike said that we're going to love it. But to add on to that extra question, I do think the Flameheart return will bring Reaper's Bones cosmetics. I don't know if they'll be linked to the Hourglass or probably the new content that Flameheart will bring. And if it will be... Surely they've got to do Skeleton and Reaper's cosmetics. It is, our reward for reviving him, right? And they're the company that probably need them the most. Especially when one of their cosmetic sets is in the Emporium as well, with the Reaper's Heart stuff.
Yeah.
Always forget about
I
those.
agree.
Yeah. So
it seems very logical. We get more Flameheart, so yeah, we'll get some more rewards as well.
Likely the season pass, like Season 8, will have Flameheart stuff in it as well. They seem to be tailoring the legendary cosmetics to the content, apart from Season 10. But Season 11 was originally going to be Skull of Siren Song, and we do get Briggsy's Gloves in there, so it's probably going to be a lot of Reaper cosmetics at once. And then nothing for 4 years.
Exactly. So thanks for that, Cross Reaper. Next one comes from Jark. Do you think companies will ever get more distinctions or rewards for distinctions besides rings?
No to both.
Okay, I think yes. Because the guilds are already go. The guilds go to 10, right? So why shouldn't the companies go to 10 as well eventually?
Okay. I don't think they'll do it because the amount of people they'll get to Distinction 5 will be minuscule.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm hopeful. The same with guilds is hard to. Guilds is even harder to get to 10 for most people. So
we've only got to 2 now, haven't we? And that's what, 3 months in? Nearly 3.5 months since guilds came out.
Yeah. So now I'm a bit more hopeful than that. Rewards for distinctions beside rings, I think. If they will bump it to 10, maybe we see earrings, nose rings, stuff like that.
Septum rings, yeah. Septum piercings, eyebrow rings. Ugh, that's ankle bracelets.
Finger 11 rings.
Oh, great.
Maybe not that one.
No.
So yeah, I think so. I think there's more options to do. Rewards going through the distinction levels. I don't know. Like we don't see them doing it retroactively all that much. I would love them to do that, but they've shown not to do that. So I don't know if you're more hopeful for that, Ray.
They should just do all the Athena Pirate Legend rewards from the season passes get added to Athena leveling up. And all the Reaper-based ones, like Grimm's Jacket, Flameheart Sword, should be Reaper distinction items. As in, like, level 50. I think you had enough between them to do level 50, at least, for each reward. So at least you get a reward every 50 levels. And then you have the aspect of, they're bringing them back for 800 doubloons. It's just boring, isn't it? Especially when they're doing the other season pass stuff as doubloons anyway.
I think that would be good too, because with the season passes, it's nice. It's a nice reward to get it easy if you were there for the season. But still, if you need to get it somewhere in your Distinction 3, level 50, that's quite a commitment. And yeah, you can have that reward then.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But are you hopeful they're going to do that?
No.
Okay, no. But I am hopeful for more distinctions and something else besides rings to get the other 5 distinctions.
Fair enough.
Mr. Thrice is the next one. Do you think adventures will ever return? And if so, do you think decision point adventures will ever come back? People should just listen to my podcast. What is this?
Stop. That's not fair. It's not even out yet. It's not out. Blubber, leave them alone. Do I think they'll come back? I think if we were to hear about them, we would have heard about them by now. And I think there'd be adventures to sort of be a run-up to Flameheart's return. But we have no sign of them. And it's been months since we've last heard about them or had one. So no to both questions for me.
Okay. I think they will still keep adding more lore, but not adventures as we knew them.
Well, again, Mike sort of hinted that the updates would be more like Hungering Deep and Cursed Sails, where the story is delivered through the update rather than. Didn't say they weren't going to be through adventures, but that's what the team will be doing at the moment. And we haven't really had that in Season 11, I guess, apart from a few little teasers, but I imagine going from Season 12, that'll be the case. Because they've implied there'll be a build up to Flameheart, a Flameheart thing, and then some more Flameheart stuff, basically, and how he drives the world of Sea of Thieves.
With the decision points, I just want to add, I think they originally planned to do more, but since we're still not delivered on the Flameheart decision, I think that's on the back burner for a while. It's something they might do again, but I don't think anything is planned at this moment.
Jesus, it's a bloody good thing we had that Mike podcast, because we've got a lot of answers for these people, haven't we?
Yeah, that's why you need to listen to this podcast. We do have the exact answers.
Yeah, we ask the burning questions, you might say.
All right. So thanks for that, Mr. Fries. Next question comes from Frog Monster. Do you think the original charm of Sea of Thieves is lost because of the excessive quality of life changes the game has been getting? Personally, I do think so. This is interesting. I think some of the original charm is lost of Sea of Thieves, for sure. But in return, we get other charms as well. So as a whole, I think the game is way better. I think the state of Sea of Thieves is way better, way more fun, way more engaging. I really like what the game has become. But yeah, some of the original charm is indeed lost, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. I think not in a sort of like, oh, the game's shit, it's not the same as it used to be, but I do think we are a couple updates away from over-optimizing it and it not being Sea of Thieves anymore. I sort of made a bit of a tongue-in-cheek joke that Season 10 got rid of the thieves with Save the Seas, and Season 11 got rid of the sea because you don't have to sail anymore. Obviously, you do have to sail, but, you know, what jokes are for, right? You know, they're not literal. Yeah, like, part of Sea of Thieves is tedium, unfortunately. Like, having to go to the outpost and sell and, you know, walk your loot over to the trading companies one chest by one. And then we've had, you know, the harpoon changes, we've had the sovereigns, we've had the new collector's chests, which are actually a godsend. For me, I think the Sea of Thieves charm has been lost, not in the sense that we have less tedium in it. It's more so that the updates aren't what I really anticipated based on the original ones. Like, I couldn't ever envision a whole update to us diving to objectives to our first island. I just couldn't do that. I would have seen more Tall Tales, or, you know, more world events, or new sandbox toys, or, you know, things like was added in the anniversary update. So the game is different. It does have that element of charm and what makes it Sea of Thieves. But if we go too far, and we're in danger of that now, luckily they've pumped the brakes, it would be a completely different game. But yeah, I do agree with you and Frog's statement. It's very serious and drab now. It's not that serious, but, you know, yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's not like I don't mind having lost that original charm of always being on the lookout from the horizon, starting a voyage, battling over fort with all the server, looking for updates that have this trailer. Yeah, it's different, but I think it's better.
The game is definitely better than launch, but, you know, it's different.
Yeah.
Not saying that's a bad thing.
Aye. And they do a good thing with keeping true to some of their values they set out in the beginning. Like you said, like, you still have PvP, you still fight over loot. That's still in the game. So next one comes from speaker Sot. My question is quite hard to phrase. Pardon the length of this. So there we go.
Living up to the namesake, speaker.
I have been feeling for some time that the updates are always too focused around one area of the game, when those features could be split across multiple seasons and consistently provide updates in those areas. Getting themed updates is typically how live service get updated, but Sea of Thieves has had some really bad priority in this regard lately. Instead of updates with things that touch multiple facets of the game, we get a season of just quality of life, just world event balancing, just new tools. I would much rather they space out in order to update multiple different areas. We used to get updates like Heart of Fire and Seabound Soul, ones that brought new tall tales, new weapon types, and new voyages all at once, instead of focusing on a bunch of one of these types of content. An update with one new weapon and one new voyage type is much, much better than an update that is only voyages or only weapons. It makes the untouched parts of the game even more still and means waiting even longer for a follow up on that area of the game, because they focus so heavily on that content type all at once instead of spread out. Interested to see any thoughts on this? Thanks for your patience.
Oof. That was incredibly well phrased, and that is one of the best questions we've had for a very long time. With that being said, Blubber, would you like to share your opinion first?
I think you have your opinion ready.
I agree. For sure. I don't want to put this in a harsh way, but yeah, I think Seasons has really, apart from I guess season 1 and 2, Ray has really gone for theming of the seasons where it feels like I'll phrase this better, with older updates, especially when it was sort of like Hungering Deep times and then the monthly updates, they used to add different things as part of the update, and it really ramped up a part of, sort of Cursed Tales and, Shrouded Spoils is a good example of this, where they added loads of different things, and that was a quality of life season, but it targeted loads of different areas of the game. Then, like Speaker says, Seabound Soul added a Tall Tale, and that would be a season now, but they added Tall Tales, and they had the arena changes, which are completely different things. And then you added fire as a mechanic. Amazing. Then you look at Heart of Fire as another great example. You had the Tall Tale, that would have been the season now, but they added the Tall Tale, the Chain Shots, the Blunderbombs, and a new Pirate Legend Voyage. And that is something that we just didn't have. We don't have these days. Fast forward to seasons. Season 3 is Pirate's Life, and we did get some other stuff that was included in Pirate's Life as part of the sandbox. Mm-hmm. And then season 4 was just the season 4 stuff. It was just shrines and treasuries. And season 5 was, quality of life. There was no new activities. Season 6 was basically split into 2. It was Sea Forts, and then it was Legend of the Veil. Season 7 was just Captaincy. Season 8 was just Hourglass. Season 9 was just Quality of Life. Season 10 was, 3 different things, but that's 2 seasons merged, so it would have just been guilds. And then we see again, Season 11 is just the diving and the voyage rebalancing. There's no new activity to do. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think, with the monthly updates, if you didn't like something, it was coming next month. With seasons, if you don't like that thing they've targeted, well, they've not added new content or I'm doing the air quotes for content, they've not added a new activity, and it doesn't interest you, you're waiting 3 or 4 months for the next thing they target. And I think if we use an example like Captaincy, sorry to ramble on, it's a big question, so it's going to have a big answer. If they added something like a new voyage with that would be fine, because you've got 2 different things to go down. Or, say in season 12, they'd add a new sandbox toy and a new Flameheart Voyage. You've got 2 things there that if you didn't want a new sandbox toy, you've got a new voyage. If you hate the new voyage, at least you've got a new sandbox toy to play with. I think them focusing so much has also made the seasons feel smaller as updates. But nothing else to add on that. I agree with you, Speaker Sart. I think the updates need more varieties. We'll need more variety in themselves.
Yeah, I also agree with that, with everything you guys said. I just want to add to that I would like them to spread it out over a season. Like always have the second month or the third month be the quality of life stuff. Instead of dumping it in a season, like with the double pans, for example, the two cooking pans on the ship, they could have added later in the season as, oh, this is the quality of life stuff we've been working on these 2 months, and we're releasing it in the second half.
As much as I didn't really like season 10 as a whole, just because it wasn't for me most of it, it sort of circles back to what I was saying. Guilds was a great way to kick it off in the sense that it's something to look at and do. And then you had Skull of Siren Song, which I really like. And then you had Save the Seas. Again, that wasn't for me, but it made the season. And that's the shortest season I think we've had since season 1. It made it feel like it went faster. But now I fear that with season 11, it does say 18 weeks or probably 16 weeks left of it, which is a really long season, but I don't think it'll be that long. Fingers crossed. What's happening between these updates? Is it just going to be more quality of life stuff? Okay. Is there going to be new commendations? Are there going to be new adventures? It feels like we've now gone into the era where seasons are going to feel longer because there's nothing in between them. At least we had events at the start. Then we had adventures. And, season last year was a bit of a clusterfuck in that sense. But now it feels like there's going to be nothing in between seasons.
Yeah. I mean, returning events would be nice as well. Like the Reaper runs, or have events for Hourglass, for example. Like, this week it's double XP, something like that.
A mid-season build rat adventure where they add a new mechanic or a new toy would be fantastic as a way. Every 6 weeks, and the commendations aren't time limited. You can complete them whenever, but that is when they drop the new cosmetics, commendations, and the new thing to do, and you just have to do one of those per season, and that would make it feel like a whole lot better.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, that would be nice. Next question comes from Trash Connoisseur. Is there anything you wish had been added with season 11? Hippos, eh?
Oh. Both on brand there, weren't we? It was like a soundboard.
Maybe prestige for Hunter's Call?
I'm going to veto that because I would not like to prestige Hunter's Call in the state it is now. Hunter's Call Voyages would be different.
Yes. I think it was a smart decision to get prestige for Hunter's Call until we get some more content added to that one. And the fact that they didn't raise it to 100 makes you think they will do eventually.
Yeah, but it needs a full makeover, not just fish some more losers.
We had some more fishing types.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have changed the Athena Voyage. We talked about that. But yeah, that's about it. Like, it needs to fit season 11, right? Let's be fair. Like, we can say hippos or islands or stuff like that, but it needs to fit the season. Yeah, maybe a revamp of the Hourglass system, add some more rewards. Get like a Gold Rush type of event for Hourglass would have been nice as an addition.
Oh god, we've been begging for that for ages.
Make it just a Friday night fight night or something like that. That would be cool.
I would be happy if they increased, and I'm going to get crucified for this. They increased the allegiance. Anyone who got to 1,000 before has a new cosmetic, because it's exclusive one. Maybe like black and silver bones, or a set of sails with a golden skull on it, or a golden hourglass. Same with the Athena. Whoever got to 1,000 before they changed it, added more rewards to 100 from 1 to 100, and then from 200 to 1,000, and increased the allegiance, also fixing the commendations. I think that is a better way of getting people to play, rather than just changing the allegiance or just adding new rewards. I think it needs a targeted update, and it needs a way to requeue easier as well, because stocking up is a pain in the ass. And it just slows down and demoralizes people. But as long as you change and reward, if you're going to change these parameters, as long as you reward the people that put the time in, there shouldn't be any complaints, because you've still got an exclusive cosmetic for putting your time in before it was nerfed.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like especially with supplies. Like if you vote for Hourglass, you should have a set amount of supplies when you reemerge. Same for the ship you're fighting against.
Yeah,
Maybe some stuff you keep on your body that can be different, but yeah.
Yeah, or automatically just they debit your gold as soon as you vote for it, and it gives you the captain supplies.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And if you lose, you can just do it out to sea. And as soon as you vote as well, it puts up your emissary for that faction.
Yep, totally agree. That would have been really nice if that also came with Season 11.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, Crash Connoisseur. Next one comes from Spaniard. Since we are very close now to completing the full emissary equipment, what do you think will be our next ledger rewards? I don't think it will be clothing, as the new faction costumes we got seem to match the ledger's sets. So leaning towards some ledger ship nameplates. I don't think he's talking nameplates. Is he talking about ship's crests or
ship crests?
Yeah, we're also getting that with the we're progressing through the ranks now. So I don't think that will be it. Maybe some ship's banners, but that would be a bit lame. They've done it before. You can actually buy a banner in the Emporium, if I'm right.
You can buy 3 in the Emporium.
Yeah, and it's the lamest reward ever.
A PNG, animated though.
Yeah.
A GIF.
Oh, it's animated.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes it all better.
They're all animated though, aren't they? So.
Okay, I'm gonna spend my money now. You convinced me. I was thinking of furniture. There you go. We still need furniture.
Furniture would be good if it was actually new and not recolored. But I think they're going to do trinkets, and they're just going to be bits that are already models in game.
That's lame.
That's what they've been doing for a lot of the other trinkets and decorations.
That's true. But I'm a bit more optimistic. I say furniture is going to be original furniture. So thanks for that, Spaniard.
No, it's going to be furniture, but it's going to be recolored.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the recolors right now. Okay.
Okay.
For Gold Hoarders, it's going to be Sea Dogs recolored. Sorry, Sovereigns recolored. Order of Souls will be Sea Dogs recolored. Merchants will be Admiral recolored. Reapers will be Bone Crusher recolored, and Athena will be, I guess it's an Admiral recolor, but a recolor of the Athena one that we have now.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Next question comes from Firebird. So far, every season that is meant to update the leveling system seems to further continue the spiral of old players getting more grinding and new players giving a more daunting challenge of finishing the game, which leads to old players always running out of content and new players leaving because it will take too long to finish the game. I think the leveling system should be overhauled and replaced with a better, more balanced way to experience the game. Less focused on getting the core emissaries upgraded and more on other aspects of the game. What do you think?
You could take this one first.
I disagree. I think it's fine. Like I said before, new players, the grind is made easier for them, and it's the game is made to be played like, forever. It's meant to be long-term goals if you play the game. As long as you're always unlocking something on that journey, and I think they realize that. So I'm fine with how they're doing it right now.
I do see a big criticism about Sea of Thieves is that you just grind for cosmetics, and that's true. And I guess the whole aspect of it is that Sea of Thieves, when you boot it up, you have the same equipment and skills, or perks, should I say, and buffs, and you're on an equal footing as someone who started the game 6 years ago. But equally, that doesn't mean they can't add stuff that people want to grind for. So, like Firebird said, like having extra cosmetic options. Good example of this is when you buy captaincy ships, you can customize the captain's cabin and banners and crest and stuff. That's a good example of progression, but that's just done through gold. If they were to add things like that, like access to weapons on your body or earrings or something like that for getting a distinction, I think that would be like new cosmetic slots rather than perks. think that would be a better way to go for it, because as soon as you add the ability to get small perks, the new players who already complain about getting shit on will get shit on even easier.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think, yeah, I do agree there's an element that they could make that grind more rewarding rather than just this looks cool.
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe PvE buffs, right?
Still disagree with that one, because you could clear out a world event easier and then no one can challenge you. Maybe access to different voyages and content. Rare has always said they don't want to hide anything behind, having to play the game. The only exception to that is getting to Pirate Legend and their Pirate Legend voyages, and some emissary stuff, etc. But I do think an end game sort of raid voyage or Tall Tale would be something that's worth grinding for.
Yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't target new players, so Rare wouldn't really add it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that, Firebird. The next question comes from DB Pooper. Out of all the removed voyages, which one would you like to see back in the game? Some include the Ashen Key / Chest, Thieves Haven Run, Black Powder, Gift Stash, Festival of Fishing voyages.
I think we're both going to answer the same with this one, aren't we?
Yeah.
Reaper runs.
Reaper runs.
Yeah. Reaper
we want
runs.
them back.
Yes. Bring them back, Rare. Do it.
Every season, new Reaper run.
New Reaper run and continue the Reaper cosmetic.
That ship is not even completed. We have holes in sails, like the cosmetics they write themselves.
Right, you gave us 3 sails and not a single wheel or cannons. God damn it.
We want those back. Also, it's a bit weird that they removed the Thieves Haven run, right?
Yeah, I think Mike said no one really likes it, and that's true. No one does like it. And he said something about, this was on Twitter, there's something about they didn't want you to be able to dive to a certain island 100% of the time, which I think is fair. I mean, I don't think you could do anything with Thieves Haven, but, it could cause issues and glitches.
Yeah. Okay, so that might be the reason why they removed the Thieves Haven run.
And it sucks as well.
But yeah, I don't care about the rest of these voyages he named. Like that, it's fine that they're gone. I don't really care.
Oh, Black Powder stashes can come back. That was cool.
Okay, yeah, just to get some kegs on your ship, you mean?
Yeah, and it's good for commendations as well.
All right. Well, there you go.
And chaos.
Chaos is always great. The final question comes from Captain Yagnar. Which company rings you like the most, and why is it the Athena's Fortune ones?
Just for the clarity for the listeners, because Yagnar's going to get pissed off. The actual question was, which company rings do you like the most, and why is it the Gold Hoarders?
He is the Gold Hoarder fanboy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Captain Yagnar.
Yeah, no, it did say Reaper's Bones.
Yeah, he's a Reaper fanatic. I like all of them except the Order of Souls one. Like the final one adds that thing on your hand, which is a bit feminine. So if you have a female pirate, I think it looks great. For a male pirate, I don't really like it.
News just
I like all the other rings.
News just in: Blubber hates women. There we go.
I hate wearing female cosmetics on a male pirate. There you go.
Just in the game. In real life, is fine.
Yeah, I wear dresses all the time.
Okay, good for the summer, isn't it?
But do you like the rings? Do you like the rings? All of them?
Yeah, they're fine. The Reaper's Bones ones I probably like the most. Then probably the Gold Hoarder ones, because they look the most bling. But yeah, I'm not crazy about any of them. Like, I don't have to have them. I think the level 100 rewards are a lot better. And, from 75 to 100 are better.
Yeah, I like the rings. I probably wear the Athena and the Gold Hoarder ones, one on each hand. Or maybe Athena and Reaper ones, to show my duality.
Yeah. No. I will just be a Skelly, so I won't wear rings.
Oh, you can't? Oh, of course you can't.
Yeah, can't even wear the clothes that I grew up in on the Sea of Thieves.
Oh, well.
Oh well. Womp womp. That was a true womp womp moment.
Yeah, I don't care about Scully Curse, so there you go.
Yeah, we know because you haven't got it, loser.
Shit. But yeah, I think I am looking forward to trading my gloves and wearing rings on each hand. So I really like this new cosmetic type. Yeah.
Good.
All right. So we have come to. Oh no. So thanks again to those that submitted their questions. And again, make sure to join the Salty Hippo Discord if you want to submit your own. I always post an announcement when we are close to recording a new episode. So we have come to the end of the podcast. But before you go, I want to remind you that this podcast is also on Spotify and Amazon Music. So if that's more convenient for you, you can listen to us there. Keep in mind that new episodes premiere on YouTube first and will be on Spotify and Amazon a while later. And you can also follow us on Twitter at BestCOT Podcast. Link is in the description. What you can also find in the description is a link to AShinyRay's channel. And also feel free to share your thoughts on Season 11 in the comments. We do read all of them. But this is the end of this episode. If you did listen to the end, just know that you are more deserving of love and ancient coins. So thanks again and take care.
Take care, guys.
Oh, wait, before we go...
Oh, what?
One other thing I wanted in Season 11 is a readjusted Kraken.
Oh, yeah. Fair. That would be nice.